to navigate today's complex world. Hard facts, where the truth always prevails.
99.3 Nigeria Info.
Let's talk.
In a world where misinformation runs rampant, one show stands apart from the rest. Get ready to embrace the truth as we bring you the most hard-hitting stories and unveil the real facts. Welcome to Hard Facts.
I am Mary Okon, and this is Hard Facts, where we separate truth from fiction. We're passionate about the hard-hitting stories that matter. Get ready to challenge your perception and discover the real world. Let's dive deep into the issues that affect our communities, revealing the untold stories and giving you a voice. No sensationalism, no bias, just raw, unadulterated truth. I am committed to delivering news without compromise. Hard facts as we know them, when we know them, and how they affect you. Every Monday through to Friday, 3 to 6 p.m. This will be your most authentic news experience starting now on 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk. Well, it's another week, a brand new one, actually. And this one's actually breaking into a new month. You know, Monday, Tuesday, and then voila, February's just right around the corner. Welcome to Hard Fact. It's the nation's #1 talk news and sports radio station, 99.3 Nigeria Info. I'm Mary Okon, welcoming you to the best conversation ever, especially one that will not leave you confused, but then, of course, breaking down the facts and helping you to make sense of it all. I hope you had a great weekend. I spent mine indoors sleeping. Yeah, I needed the rest. My body was begging for it. And so, I'm here, ready. Yes, reinvigorated and ready to face wahalas from Nigeria and all of the political statements that have been made all through the weekend. But I'm starting, of course, with the big three on the show today. Of course, the big three stories from our weekend into the new week. And these are stories that have been trending on social media, making the big spreads on the covers of our national dailies. And, of course, stories that you and I have been talking about in our privacies. Welcome to Hard Facts. Millions of listeners trust us on Hard Facts. Whether it's politics, social issues, controversies, and trending stories. You know we're credible and objective.
It's Hard Facts with Marian Okon on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
All right, without further delay, let's go into the big stories from the weekend. This is the big weekend, ladies and gentlemen, and the program is Hard Facts. 99.3 Nigeria Info is the frequency. We're broadcasting live from our audiovisual studios right here in Itiwiyan Crescent, Victoria Island, Lagos. All right, the big stories on our national dailies. First things first, corrupt governance, reason for kidnapping and banditry in the north, says Vice President Kashim Shettima. Well, let me give you some background quickly. The Vice President, Kashim Shettima, said this over the weekend that corrupt governance was responsible for the crisis of insecurity and banditry in the north. I'll give you some more. Shettima spoke as the Southern Kaduna Christian Leaders Association commended the Nigerian army for its peace-building efforts in southern Kaduna, but called on the army to do more to guarantee more secure society in the area. The Vice President made the declaration at the 10th annual Sir Ahmadu Bello Foundation lecture, an award hosted by Borno State Governor Professor Babagana Zulum in Maiduguri on Saturday. He spoke about a lot of things, but he also said a leader cannot engage in corruption if he wants to stand above the common thief, the bandit, and the kidnapper. Okay. Well, my big question today, of course, Mr. Vice President, is bad governance. He said that's the major reason. That's what's at the core. That's what's at the core of kidnapping and banditry in the north. But then let's take our minds back to when Vice President Kashim Shettima was a governor in the same north. Does he lump himself up with those same people he's saying are responsible? Because, when he was governor, banditry was still a thing. So, could he be putting himself in the shoes of all of these, or is he lumping himself with all these people to say, yeah, well, I'm part of the problem, or is he pointing fingers? Well, the rest of the fingers pointed, Mr. President, Mr. Vice President. Anyway, let's move away from that. More stories today. This one says Lagos government issues 5-day eviction notice to Ijora Causeway Bridge squatters. I'm really, really worried about this one because it's with us here in Lagos. And I think I have been saying it over and over again. To anyone who cares to listen, more and more people are sleeping in the streets. Do you remember when we were talking about open defecation and why it's on the increase, and now it's becoming a health hazard? Because more and more people are living on the street. More and more people have no bathrooms. More and more people have no public toilets to get access to. And so, of course, the closest and the easiest way to do it is to take a dump on the express or on the side of the street. And so, as a result of that, Lagos is stinking. So, my question about this situation is, do we have a housing deficit in Lagos, or these people who are squatters, who've become squatters all across the city? And it's not just about, that Ijora axis. It's about everywhere. I'm talking about even in Lekki. There are more and more people living in tents, in tiny makeshift houses just by the road. Are these people a victim of the cost of living crisis in the country? Could that be also the problem? Or is it just generally there's a housing deficit and people are unable to pay house rents anymore? I don't know. What is it? And finally, Ecowas has been making the news all through the weekend into today. And so let's get to it. So the Ecowas is speaking on Niger, Mali and Burkina Faso's exit from the sub-regional bloc. The Ecowas is yet to receive any direct formal notification from the member states that have left about their intention to withdraw from the community. They said this in a press briefing on Sunday. Now, we all know because Joyce talked about it extensively on her show today. But my big question is, because I don't want to go back into the nitty-gritty and the details of what's, the three different countries have decided is their reason to want to leave the ECOWAS. But then, what is the fate of the ECOWAS now that these three countries have left? Even though the ECOWAS has also issued a statement that they're not going anywhere, but the sovereign countries, they can decide to leave. But how does that make the ECOWAS look? It also reminds me of when the United Kingdom woke up one day and said, oh, you know what? We're going to leave the EU because, we're tired of all the drama and paying so much money and having to receive too many people at our borders, and it's killing us economically. And then they gave birth to Brexit. But how are they faring now with Brexit? Big question. And can these three countries stand on their own now that they've decided, look, we're going to be revolutionaries? But are they moving from what we call here on the streets from fire pan to fire? Or is it a better option? Take out the French, bring the Russians. 0700 993 993 993. These are the numbers for you to call. 0700 993 993 993. You could join the conversation if you're a lady. 0201 465 7190. Join the conversation. We are on Skype. Yes, we are. If you're listening to us from outside of the country and you want to chime in on the conversation, please, by all means, call us via Skype on Nigeria Info FM. We're live, facebook.com/Nigeria Info FM. We're also on YouTube, Nigeria Info FM, and you can join the conversation on WhatsApp and Twitter. Use the hashtag Hard Facts. I'm ready for you. Are you? Call me right now, 0700 993 993 993. Hello, welcome to Hard Facts.
Wow. Action lady.
Yes.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I'm your first caller this afternoon.
Yes, you broke the record, didn't you?
It's like I win jackpot.
The lottery, yes.
Yes, I'm telling you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Go ahead.
For Kashim Shettima, oh my God, it's only in Nigeria you make such statement and go scot-free. He was the governor of Borno State for 8 years. You remember? Mm-hmm. And he was a senator as well. All this thing is happening in the north. You didn't see it coming. I will never forget that day at the BHE annual conference. He was beating his chest. Oh, I'm going to be in charge of security. No, what are you telling us now? Like I said, it's only in Nigeria it will happen, and they go scot-free. For Ecowas, I don't blame those people. why are the Ecowas, when all these so-called African presidents were misusing or misruling their whatever economy in their country, where are they? These ones that are complaining, oh no, you're going to return the government to what? The ones that are there, how did they get in there? Did they get in there through the right process? So let them just leave them. If not from fry pan to fire, let them have it to themselves.
Okay.
I think they will sort themselves out. Thank you, Action Lady.
All right. Thank you very much for calling. Hello, welcome to Hard Facts.
Hello, good afternoon, Marian.
Good afternoon, sir. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Peter Osifo.
All right, Peter, go ahead.
Thank you very much. Actually, I want to speak on Shetima's statement that because of poor governance, especially in the north, that is why we have corruption.
No, that's why we have banditry and kidnapping in the north.
So banditry, okay.
Yes.
Corruption, banditry, and the rest. It is not only in the north, it's all over. But I expected him to have also, brought out some solutions. I expected him to say that there be executive bill from the presidency to the legislative National Assembly to curtail this or to curb corruption, banditry, terrorism, and the rest. You understand? So that somebody or group of people will be seriously sanctioned.
I'm sorry, Peter. I'm so sorry to cut in, but we have so many legislations. We've talked tough about fighting terrorism, etc., etc. What does it do if we don't back it by action? Because I'm tired of hearing about these so-called legislations.
Yeah, that's very good. It is not only bringing up legislation, but also backing it up with implementation, which is more important than even the legislation itself. You understand? We did hear of the 400 sponsors of terrorism, that was given to the government of Buhari by United Arab Emirates. You understand? But in my own present situation, I believe that this even has a multiplier effect. It's no more 400 sponsors, but more than that. So there should be a serious implementation of such legislation to curb terrorism, corruption, and the rest. All
right, Sifo, thank you very much for calling. I do appreciate it. Emeka is calling us from Satellite Town. Hello, Emeka.
Very how are you today?
I'm great. Great.
You see, on the Vice President's self-indicting statement, let me put it like that, let me remind His Excellencies that campaign and electioneering is over. It should be settled now to the business of governance. Giving us the reasons why something is happening, banditry or terrorism is happening, not why he's in power. He's in power to fix it. I have thought that knowing fully well that bad governance is the cause for all this, he'll be coming up with a panacea of some sort, because that's what Nigerians are looking up to now. I have thought he would say, okay, we're going to go after the sponsors or the list of sponsors of this banditry and terrorism in the country. That's what we want to hear. So telling us the reason is not, most of us know the reason, but how do we fix it? Do we continue with the kinetics or non-kinetics? So Nigerians need a well-detailed action.
So we're tired of the rhetorics. We want action, basically. Yes.
This thing is just like a campaign, electioneering, politicking, and the rest of that. That's what they say. Like my good friend, Mr. Chris Onka, in said during the NBA conference, he said he was going to be in charge of security. So we're still looking up to him to walk the talk as he promised during the NBA conference.
All right, Emeka, thank you very much for calling. We have to let you go because of time. 60 seconds of the time that you have. Don't forget, when you're calling me, go straight to the point. Make it. Now, I also have, a few questions for Mr. Kashim Shettima, Your Excellency, Mr. Vice President. You did promise, yes, we did hear you. And we have it all, on good authority that you said you would be in charge of security. But you're feeding us stories that we already know. We know this. We need to hear something new and not necessarily yapping. We want to know what the strategy would be and how you want to go about it. So there are many questions. Back in the day, a terrorist was found in your home. I want to go back to that statement that you just made at that event. I just want to quote it and then, of course, ask you that question again. Mr. Vice President said, I want to get it right, okay, so that I don't say the wrong thing. I read it out briefly. He said, a leader cannot engage in corruption if he wants to stand above the common thief, the bandit, and the kidnapper. End of quote. can you explain to us what that bomber was doing in your house? Because until today, we're yet to hear an explanation, a very clear explanation. If you want to stand above the bandits and the thieves, you shouldn't be seeing hobnobbing with them, right? Okay, while you were governor, Mr. Vice President, what were the things that you did to put an end to terrorism? Now, you became a senator at some point. What did you do? Now you're Vice President. You're telling us what we already know. What are you going to do, Mr. Vice President? Because as it is, we're sick, we're tired. We don't want to hear anything that sounds like campaign. What are you going to do? 0700 993 993 993. That's 0700 993 993 993. For your ladies, 020 1465 7190. That's for the ladies, 020 1465 7190. You could use WhatsApp 0809 5975 805. That's send us a message. Don't call me. 0809 5975 805. Or tweet with the hashtag hard facts on X. I'd like to hear from you. We've got a post up and we're live on YouTube and on Facebook. Post your comments. I'd like to read from you too. Go ahead. Hello. Welcome to Hard Facts.
Good afternoon, Miriam.
Hi.
How was your weekend?
Great.
Mrs. Aboli. Okon.
Wow. Go ahead, Mrs. Abole.
Shetima, Shebi now, they are there. We have been telling them, shouting every day, do something, do something. They will come giving excuses. I don't know what's wrong with these politicians. When eventually they leave office, you hear them tendering apologies that they are sorry, they did not do what they were supposed to do when they were in office. Marianne, this thing is not rocket science. They can see it. They can feel it. They have everything on ground. This is no longer the campaign session like you have rightly said. Let them just get to work and fix whatever it is. Except if they are telling me that they are aware of those who are kidnapping and they are in bed with them. Let them prove to them that they are not in bed with them. They are capable of handling this government. What is the essence of grabbing, snatching, and running away with power when you cannot do anything with it? Kukuma, drop it. Let somebody else that can handle the hem of affairs just go there and run it properly. I have nothing to say, Maria. I am tired. Let the poor breathe. Let us sleep fine now.
It's okay, Bele. Usman is calling us from a Balandi. Hello, Usman. How are you doing?
Hello, this is Usman for Balandi.
I know. How are you day?
Are you fine?
Good. Go ahead,
Good afternoon.
Please. Yes, good afternoon.
I want to talk about Shetima. You know, this called Shetima, because me I know what's up as a vice president. I know what to anything. Shetima. You know, say this country, president go for prison, called the Nigerian president. And the same country again, senator, he does that prison, they collect salary for senator. You understand me? The same Shetima, 2014, where they say make it lock school, make school no open. The same Shetima, you know, close the school. He made sure say all those Boko Haram carry all the Chibok girls. Okay, now the same Shetima again, they complain. Why the same Shetima no ask Buhari, the release where they give Buhari, the sponsor? Okay, what do you know if you do for your country? Another country help you do them. Okay, take this release so we don't punish our own. No, okay, take Kunano and go punish them. Shetima there. You know, tell Buhari, where is the list? Where this 400 list for this people that has sponsored these terrorist people? All till today, they don't mention anybody's name. All those know that they do person know. They don't say they do it themselves. When the time come, they go sit down, they go regret them. Not the time they go regret them. They never know anything. No.
All right.
The fire.
Oh, you don't do, Usman. You don't do. Philip is calling us from Lekki. Philip, I'm sure this is Philip. Thank you very much for calling, but call me back if you can. I want to quickly read some messages here on Facebook before we go on a break. I have just about 60 minutes. This one's Adekambi Adeleke here says, all the forms of government are responsible for the increase in banditry since they can't have what they voted the people in government for. Then they switch to kidnapping and robbery. Those bandits are not spirits. When we have government always building housing schemes that only favors the rich, then you have people who sleep in shops, slums, under the bridges. Yet they say they're a listening government. There are lots of buildings in my areas that were built by government for over a decade, I beg your pardon, without anyone living in them because of the high cost of living. Adekomi, thank you for your message. Stephen Losso here says, the second question, first of all, well, I'm not going to read that thing. He says, the Nyanya Abuja bomber, Was he not arrested in his home in Abuja in 2010? We know all these things. Okay. Case Holy here says, that man is telling Nigerians that he himself was a bad governor. He was seen eating with Boko Haram leader in his house. Alakwe here says, yes. Bad governance, bad leaders, bad policies, bad advisors, bad external infiltrators are responsible for insecurity, joblessness, high unemployment rate of our teeming youth, and other social vices in our society. And this is very unfortunate and sad. However, Ijora Badia under bridge evacuation. This is long overdue. Lagos should go ahead fast. Okay, that's the most I can read from your message. I'll do a review because your message is really long. But don't forget, we're live on facebook.com/Nigeria Info. We're also live on YouTube, Nigeria Info FM. Post your comments. I'd like to read them when we come back from this break. It's still Hard Facts, 99.3 Nigeria Info. I'm Mary Anacol.
You are listening to your number one station for talk.
99.3 Nigeria Info.
99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
The I Beg to Differ Secondary School Debate Competition is back. The challenging and well-researched topics.
Accessibility is easier and faster.
Given the economic climate of some countries.
Two-thirds of the world population have abolished the death penalty. Yet. You mentioned that they don't no longer settle land disputes like
The points and the counterpoints.
In line with research, Nigeria sets out an increasing number of skilled workers.
you look at the points that you made about it being manipulated by the media. Secondly, my opponent says that it increases volume of clean and fit notes. Well,
the confidence and the test battle.
we make it sound that government doesn't have a set of rules and regulations.
There are different safety measures that Okada riders do flaunt.
A child has not been properly academically satisfied.
Secondary school students in Lagos will go shoulder to shoulder in the I Beg to Differ Secondary School Tournament to contest who deserves the crown. The I Beg to Differ competition is back this February on Nigeria Info FM. For sponsorship, call 0908-885-1862. I Beg to Differ, the Tournament of Champions.
What does a random Lagosian have in common with the next one? On the 10th of February, embrace the Lagos spirit and find your feet at the Access Bank Lagos City Marathon 2024 to make sure the Lagos story is not told without you. Please visit www.lagoscitymarathon.com today to register for free.
Access Bank Lagos City Marathon 2024 is brought to you by Nilayo Sports Management Limited, supported by Lagos State Government, endorsed by World Athletics and Athletics Federation of Nigeria. Headline sponsored by Access Bank and sponsored by Lagos State Sports Commission, 7-Up, Aquafina, Kia Motors, Kenya Airways, 3 Crowns, Finedge, Eco Atlantic, What Network, and Brilla FM. Access Bank Lagos City Marathon 2024. Find your fit and get ready to run Lagos.
On Borderlines, we go beyond boundaries.
You know, let's be honest here. This is an organization that sent nearly 3,000 terrorists into Israel, and on the most part, they were proud. They don't care if they die. All they care about is killing Israelis and killing Jews.
Why is it that the Palestinians cannot go by dialoguing with these people through other international bodies?
Straight talk, no holds barred.
That's what Hamas did, and Hamas say they didn't do it, but Hamas lied.
You contradict what America's report, you contradict Israel's report.
The Liberation Organization died. The children, they will rise up tomorrow and fight for liberty.
Biggest conversations from around the world. Borderlines with Iriti Bakari Yusuf. Fridays at 4 p.m. Let's talk. Who says you can't have it all with one play?
I got that defined, but you have just won yourself.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, Melitus. One player, don't talk to 2 players because you won 20K.
So now you won yourself 20,000 naira.
My name is Well Done.
Okay, well done. We want to tell you, well done. You won yourself 20,000 naira.
With 500 naira, you can play to win big. From 120,000 naira to 190,000 naira daily on Nigeria Info. Go to oneplay.ng and play with 500 naira. And in a few seconds, your ticket is in the draw. Or dial *347*880*3#. Win daily on Nigeria Info. 50,000 naira on Money Crossfire. 60,000 naira on WhatsApp Lagos. 20 for persons under the age of 18. We all need those words to boost our faith, to give us hope and reasons to continue. Words that can change our lives and get us into action. Sunday Elevation on 99.3 Nigeria Info. The Sunday experience you need to kickstart your week on a high note. Every week, we feature incredible thought leaders who will uplift your spirit and inspire you to live your best life. Sunday Elevation is exactly what you need to start your week off right. So, tune in every Sunday from 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. for one-of-a-kind experience that will leave you feeling inspired, energized, and ready to conquer the week ahead. Don't miss Sunday Elevation on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
99.3 Nigeria Info.
Your number one station for talk. Let's talk.
There's a reason why over 1 million people tune into Hard Facts every day. We discuss in-depth stories with sources behind the facts.
The Lagos State High Court has convicted, suspended the Chicago certificate story. It's never going away, is it? Show with stories for the day.
You hear diverse voices and opinions.
My husband was a magician, and she was meeting campaign with her husband, knowing that.
You should not feel happy because there is nothing to happy about.
Yeah, it's quite pathetic the way the country is going.
We distinguish each story accurately with analysis.
It's Hard Facts with Marianne Okon on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
It's still Hard Facts, 99.3 Nigeria Info, and we are looking at the big weekend stories. First, of course, in that lineup is Mr. Vice President saying that corruption and bad leadership has been the reason for kidnapping and banditry in the north. Might I ask, Your Excellency, are you included? Also, Lagos State government issues a 5-day eviction notice to Ijora Causeway Bridge squatters. And I'm asking, is this as a result of the fact that we have housing deficit in Lagos, or could these squatters and these, rough sleepers, are they victims of, the cost of living crisis across the nation, and it's really telling here in Lagos? I'd like to hear your thoughts on that. And of course, on the Ecowas story, with the 3 countries who have decided that they're exiting because the Ecowas is no longer, for the want of a better way to describe it, giving. For those of you who are very, what do they call them now? Gen Z. The Gen Z baddies, say it's giving. But now they're saying it's not giving. And they're leaving. But the Ecowas is saying, we're not letting you go anywhere. No, we haven't seen anything that says that. Well, these countries are saying, we're going to go out on our own because, you're not giving us what we want and you're not representing exactly what you should. So, permit me to do it again. It's not giving what it should. Join the conversation. 0700 993 993 993. What are your thoughts? What's the Ecowas going to be without these 3 francophone countries who've decided, loosely I'd use the word, to go rogue? What are your thoughts? 0700 993 993 993. We're also live via Skype. If you're listening to us from outside of the country, call us via Skype on Nigeria Info FM. We're also on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Nigeria Info FM. Better still, you could join the conversation on Twitter, use the hashtag HardFacts, or send me a message on WhatsApp. I'd like to hear from you. The phone lines are open. Let's do this. Hello, welcome to Hard Facts. Hello?
Hello?
Good afternoon. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good afternoon. This is Joshua from Ijushaga.
All right, Joshua, go ahead.
In fact, what is worrying Nigeria is impunity. When you make a law and there is no implementation, how will the law work? Now, they gave them a list from Saudi Arabia. What have they done with that list? Then they are telling us there is all this rubbish going on everywhere. They have to do something about that list. Or those people, are they above law? If they can deal with them, all these things will stop. And about ECOWAS, anybody can be a member. If I don't want to be a member, you can't force me to be a member when you are not serving my purpose. So everybody have their own sovereignty. They have to maintain their sovereignty. You can't force them that they should be in Ecowas. So this is my own submission. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much for calling, sir. I appreciate your thoughts. Hello, welcome to Hard Fact.
Miriam,
Yes, good afternoon.
good afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Ziggy by name
Hi, Ziggy. Go ahead, please.
from Ajawo Estate.
Okay.
Miriam, you're a pinot for real, oh.
Really?
Serious. I check you out on Instagram. I love what I see.
Thank you.
All right,
Yeah.
Back I gist you,
You're always giving me gist.
The last time I checked,
Mm.
we are no longer campaigning now. And the last time I checked, APC have won. And the last time I checked, Kashim Shettima is the vice president. I wonder why he's still campaigning, why he's in power. I don't know. He told us that he is going to be in charge of security. And why the other man will be in charge of economy. So why is he trying to tell us what he's in charge of, what is wrong in it? I think he should be there to solve it. He shouldn't be campaigning to us again. We have given him the mandate, and all of us have rallied around him. Why is he still campaigning? Please, I think you have to call him to your show so that we can tell him to start work. That is now the vice president.
Thank you for mandating me. That's a very good thing. Thank you, Ziggy, for mandating me. For those who know the vice president and those who might be able to get through to the vice president, Your Excellency, I'd love to have you on Hard Facts. How about that? Let's talk about what's happening in the north. And since you're in charge of security across the country, you might have a few things to let us into, right? You might not be the chief of defense staff. You might not be, the chief of army staff, but you are the second guy in command. And you did tell us, in not too many words, that you will be in charge of security. Your Excellency, you are welcome to Hard Facts. Emmanuel is calling us from Ekpe. Hello, Emmanuel.
Good afternoon, Miriam.
Good afternoon.
You have Emmanuel on the line research.
Mm-hmm.
I heard what Kashim Shettima said. Is he trying to indict himself? Because he was a governor for 8 years. So, and then we knew what happened during the tenure. Was it that he was involved in bad governance and then he was corrupt? You see, the leaders of this country are just trying to confuse Nigerians, and I hope they will take the bull by the horn, and say we have a lot of issues that they need to address, corruption, as he said, education, and then infrastructure, things like that. They should address those things to stop insecurity. And then for the Niger issue, I welcome the development, in as much as I want unity, maybe some people should break away at least to let's see if the wrong tailor style that the tailor shows, we eventually get a good result. Thank you. Good afternoon.
Okay, thank you, Manuel, for calling. I appreciate it. Let's go to social media. I like to read your messages on WhatsApp because I have to spread the love, right? All right, this one says, good afternoon, Marianne. Why is Shettima complaining instead of solving the problem? If anyone, your money was sent. It was sent. Your money was sent to if anyone. I don't want to hear that shoot bed mama run. Everybody said they received their money except you. Send us your account details again. Let's be sure. This one says, 1 derica of rice is now 1,000 naira. 1 small egg is 150. I pity kids of this generation. They will eat egg once in a year now. Go to Google and type who the owner of Nigeria is. Come back and let's laugh together. I don't want to laugh alone. Coco Joe from Igboleri. Are you joking? This one says, Ecowas versus outgone members. The military in those countries should be very careful. The world has moved on beyond guns and bombs. So the military guys shouldn't allow their selfishness to affect the citizens of their countries. But both Ecowas and these leaders of the countries, I wish them well. Okay. The rest of Ecowas should be focused. Alaba Alakwe. Thank you. This one says, okay, good afternoon, Marianne. The truth is that our leaders, the leaders that we have at various levels, are not doing enough in all lies for us in case we do not always trust them. Okay. Says as for the Vice President Shettima during the campaign, he said that he will take security, but the president did not assign the responsibility to him, so we can crucify him for that. It is the duty of the president to give him that undertake. So Chris should not be saying it against him every time he speaks on the radio. Why would you tell Chris what to say? I mean, it's your deduction. You say, well, the president did not give him that mandate. Were you in the room with him? You were also not in the room when he had that conversation with Mr. President. For him to come out to tell us that, it means that there had been a nod, and the presidency didn't put out a statement to say, well, he's not going to be in charge of security. There's nothing countering it. So, of course, Chris can say it. I can say it. As many people can say it, because it is a fact. He said it. Now, whether he's overseeing those ministries or departments or agencies is a different thing. But he did say to Nigerians. Or should we consider it a lie? Sam from Satellite Town, should we? This one says, the withdrawal of Mali, Niger, Republic, and Burkina Faso from Ecowas is a serious setback for West Africa. It signifies a failure of diplomacy and dialogue. We lost our African blood brothers because of our Western conditional friends. We sacrificed our hands to keep our wristwatches. Ulushogajai, interesting way of putting it. This one says, the cumulative, I beg your pardon, GDP of Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger is less than $30 billion. Moreover, they're all landlocked, hence their decision to negotiate with Morocco to use their port. But the shocking thing to me is the fact that they want to keep using franc CFA, the common currency used by 8 countries in West Africa. If they want to leave, they must leave everything. Gankap, thank you. This one says, Marianne, these leaders want to learn the hard way, I guess. It's obvious they don't want this country fixed. Probably what would fix this country? No, sir. I'm not going to read that. Sorry. Bye. This one says, anybody waiting for these leaders to fix terrorism is wasting time. These governments, just like Buhari's government, will not do anything. Like late General Sani Abacha said, oh, if I hear that one more time, I'm going to bite my own head off. This one says, Mr. Vice President, can you tell us what the person who bombed the church in Nyanya and he was arrested in your house, what was he doing during the time of President Jonathan Ikenna? Because my name is not Mr. Vice President, I'm not obliged to answer the question. And he's not here. Yes, he cannot answer the question. Thank you, Ikenna. All right, this one says, when a needle falls deep into a deep well, many people will look into the well, but a few will be ready to go down after it. Governor Kashim Shettima has spoken well indeed. I won't apportion blames to anyone on this issue. We have done enough of what? Now we know the problem as outlined by him. It's time to appoint a fearless rat to bail the cat. I'm not saying he should be the one at the forefront, because it is pointless sending those behind the problem to solve the problem. Ibilade Ambo from Badagry, thank you. I've got 10 minutes on the clock, still taking your thoughts. This one says, kindly tell Mr. Vice President that campaigns are over. Let him face governance and deliver his campaign promises. Nigerians need results, not excuses. Kelvin from Arepo. Dear Mr. Vice President, I'm relaying this message from Kelvin in Arepo here in Lagos. And he's saying, no more campaigns. It's time for you to act. You were in Borno State 8 years. What did you do? And then you became a senator. What did you do? Now you're the vice president. You're still singing the same story. What tired? What are you going to do about it, Mr. Vice President? I've relayed my message. You can send me with the answer back to him. Thank you, sir. All right. This one says, my name is Bobby from Baby Mama from Lagos. Lagos Island Street is fed up with APC administration. Okay, Lagos City Island. What's happening there? Can you tell me more, Baby Mama? Please, can you tell me more? I'd like to hear about it. On the 4 o'clock hour when we're doing checkpoint. Okay, can you do that for me, please? This one says, please, when is the vice president? Please, is the vice president no longer in charge of security? What does he want to do now? He says, please fix this, even though I don't know your name. This one says, good afternoon, Marianne. The withdrawal from ECOWAS of the 3 countries in the Sahel region will complicate issues for everyone. How so? No free movement of ECOWAS of goods and services for their citizens throughout the remaining ECOWAS any longer. The millions of them residing in Nigeria, Cote d'Ivoire, Senegal, and Ghana, they will start paying for residence permits, which is about $240, and for non-ECOWAS citizens. Andose from Maryland. Okay. Thank you, Andose, for your message. All right. Thank you. Oh, I see myself on Alexa. Larry, that's lovely. Thank you very much. Yes, I did have a restful weekend. Thank you, Larry. Thank you very much. You owe me, Larry. I'm joking. This one says, I'm sick and tired of this country called Nigeria, but I know God will reward each and every one according to their okay, according to what they did. I'm sure that's what you mean, Abraham from Awoya. All right, quickly, I want to go to Twitter and then Facebook. I want to make sure everyone is carried along. Then I'll come back to the phone lines. But if you're listening to us from outside of the country, feel free to call us via Skype. We're Nigeria Info FM. Tell Alexa to call Nigeria Info. Yes. This one says, okay. Emmanuel here says, I hope there will be a thorough enforcement to that. I'm sure you mean that act, because Lagos state government needs to increase security forces. While doing that, I'm sure he's talking about the Ijora situation. For those quarters not to mix with the people, to cause more menace in society. Okay, I get it. Thank you. Still taking your thoughts and your comments. I'm going to Facebook Live now. Okay, and of course I can take some of your comments on our YouTube Live. We're Nigeria Info FM on YouTube. I'd like to hear from you. Let me read the messages on Facebook quickly. This one says, good day, Marianne. I'm not really surprised. Godwin Ogbu says, I'm not really surprised that Niger and Co are running away from Ecowas, because since the last military coup in Niger in 2023, many African countries are also looking forward to the change of government. Niger and Co have set the road map already. Many African countries will follow suit. Really, who told you that many African countries want to go back to military rule? The world is going ahead. We want to go backwards? Is that a joke? Anyway, thank you very much for your message. And I appreciate it. Let me go back to the phone line. 0700 993 993 993. Am I too fast? 0700 993 993 993. And if you're a lady, 020 1465 7190. We're looking at the big weekend today. Join the conversation. Hello.
Hello, Miriam.
Good afternoon. Turn off your radio, please.
I've just done that.
Go ahead. All right, Joe, go ahead.
Hello?
I can hear you. Go ahead.
I wonder why people are condemning the exiting of Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger. Let us take it further to OAU. Of what importance has OAU leaders been to African countries? Have they been giving Africans good governance? Has the West African leaders been giving us good governance? Let us tie it down to Nigerians here, where we have hyper double inflation, where we have high cost of living rising up every day, where we have insecurity, where you cannot contend with even the health sector as regard the prices of drugs that has gone up, and most of the companies that has hesitated. So what are we saying? Are you with me?
Mm-hmm.
Are people not thinking at all? Do we have two lives, or do we think we have reincarnation where if you come back you will enjoy your life again? You only have one life to live, and people are stealing you blind. They are stealing your collective patrimony, and you are condemning the exiting of Niger and Mali and Burkina Faso. Good riddance to good rubbish. Good afternoon.
Thank you very much for calling. I appreciate it, Joel. Florence here says, okay, thank you very much, Florence. Keep trying to call the ladies' line. You'll go through. Someone says, if bad governance has been the reason for banditry and kidnapping, as stated by a vice president, has security been made the top priority in Nigeria? A question to Mr. VP. To whom much is given, much is expected. So, sit up. This one's from someone listening in Ogun State. Okay. Dakbo from Shango says, Nigeria is owned by elites, so why the rich and and the politicians are deceiving us as a country? So you're saying they're deceiving us? Well, maybe we want to be deceived. Maybe we like being deceived. Maybe we have become so good with the idea of being deceived, so we just take it hook, line, and sinker. We eat it all up. And then maybe because we also have chicken senses, these things happen every day. We forget it quickly and we move on to the next thing, and to the next thing. And then we leave issues that we're supposed to stay on. So, should we blame them? Shouldn't we also be blaming ourselves? I don't know. This one says, The government is, someone says, your government, that's me, Marianne's government, are playing with the Cobra about insecurity. How is it my government, sir? Who are you? Are you from Benin? Are you not saying Nigerian? It's now my government. It's our government. Yeah. This one says, the former governor of Borno, now comfortably settled at vice president or in the vice president's chair, is pointing fingers at corrupt governance for banditry and kidnapping, like a chef. I'm sure you mean chef, blaming the recipe for a burnt soup when they had been stirring the pot all along, or blaming the river for flooding after years of, damming its flow. Perhaps it's time for to navigate beyond rhetorics and chart a course towards real solutions. This is Freeze from Ikoi. Thank you, Freeze. I can take one more message. Okay. Hello. Sorry about that. Do call me back. Hello, welcome to Hard Facts. Hello. You need to speak up. You need to speak up. I can't hear you. I cannot hear you. What's happening with your phone? All right, you have to call me back. Your line is bad and it sounds like you're calling me from inside a well. Hello.
Hello.
Good afternoon. What's your name, sir? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Go ahead. Yes, you have 60 seconds.
Boyesin calling from Afromedia.
Go ahead quickly.
Thank you. You see, I've been saying it. Our leaders, those who call themselves our leaders, they've been deceitful for a very long time. What they will tell us this. Hello?
Go ahead. You don't have time, sir.
Yeah, they will tell us a different thing now when they are campaigning. When they enter there, they will do a different thing. That is not the case. So for Kashim Shettima, I am sorry. Those who believed in when he was campaigning, those who think he will do a magic, I am sorry. That means they don't know our politicians. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.
All right. Thank you, Boyerson, for calling. I appreciate it. It's very important that we query things that were said during the campaign. We follow through when they get into power. Don't follow the masses who say, oh, they've just been there for 3 months. Are you joking? A government that wants to do something starts from day one. Go to Zamfara and see what that guy is doing. Go to Akwa Ibom and see what pastor is doing. Go to Benue and see what the Reverend Father is doing. That was inexcusable old politician and old Nigerian who's supporting that silly politician who keeps lying to you and feeding you lies and you keep chopping it like biscuit. If someone's really bent and serious about doing something and creating a change, they will do it. Come rain or sun. It takes determination. It takes being realistic about the promises that you make. That's if they even take you or they even hold you in high esteem or they even regard you as citizens. But if they do not regard you, that's when they keep telling you stories over and over again and sound like they're campaigning because they have no respect for you. And you have to teach them that they need to respect you because they're there to serve you. But until you come to that realization, we're still going to have this conversation. And you still come and say, why are they telling us what we already know? Because they think you're stupid. Well, we've got to go. When we come back on the other side of the clock, it's time for us to checkpoint. We'll be checking in with you. And then some video I want to play for you that happened somewhere here on Uzumba, by the way. Stay with us. My name is Marianne Okon. It's still Hard Facts.
More news and information coming up. We'll be back in a moment.
I beg to differ.
99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.